The real danger of hiring purely for raw intellect. I mean, we've all seen it, right? That resume that just looks way too good to be true. But what actually happens when that brilliant, supposedly perfect hire ends up completely sabotaging your team's growth? Let's find out.
Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever hired a genius who completely derailed your team? Because what we're looking at today is really a cautionary tale for modern leaders about the brilliant jerks in the corporate world. We have this tendency, almost a habit, to put raw intelligence on a massive pedestal. We just assume a high IQ automatically equals great performance and stellar leadership. But as we'll see, the psychological data paints a totally different picture.
Section 1. The intelligence illusion. When we break down the fundamental difference here, just look at the left side, raw IQ. Now, this really just measures cognitive processing power. We're talking pattern recognition, memory, logical reasoning. It's basically the raw computing power of a human brain. But jump over to the right side and you see real intelligence, which is frankly so much broader. Real intelligence demands emotional awareness, character, and actual wisdom. Someone can literally score off the charts on a standard intelligence test, yet profoundly struggle with the deeper, everyday behaviors you absolutely need to effectively lead and interact with a real team.
Section 2. Ego and empathy failures. So the first major sign of this trap is the ego trap. These individuals genuinely believe that being smart means they always absolutely have to be right. They kind of use their intelligence like a weapon to prove their superiority, constantly correcting others just to win an argument. But truly intelligent people? They actually know that their knowledge is incomplete. When an employee prioritizes their own ego over genuine shared understanding, it quietly but entirely blocks your team's growth. And this brilliantly illustrates the second sign, the empathy blind spot. As the research highlights, someone might be able to solve the most insanely difficult equations, yet completely fail to understand how people actually feel. Psychology shows us over and over that intelligence without emotional awareness creates these massive blind spots in the workplace. Knowledge without empathy, it simply creates total disconnection.
Let's make this super concrete. Picture an executive who can brilliantly solve the absolute most complex supply chain equations you could possibly throw at them. Just a genius on paper. But they struggle deeply with empathy in their workplace relationships. They constantly alienate their team, they totally ignore burnout, and they end up driving away your top talent. The raw computing power is definitely there, for sure, but the real intelligence required to build and maintain a cohesive team, it's literally nowhere to be found.
Section 3. Overcomplication and rigidity. Sign number 3 is mental rigidity. Now, this one surprises a lot of leaders, but highly intelligent individuals can actually become incredibly rigid. See, once their ego attaches to their intelligence, their learning completely stops. Instead of exploring new perspectives or flexibly adapting to market changes, they become incredibly overconfident. They fiercely defend their old beliefs, and their natural curiosity just vanishes.
And that brings us to sign number 4, the paralysis of complexity. If you compare these two columns right there on the left, we see that real intelligence actually values clarity. It simplifies things to drive clear communication and decisive action. But on the right side, look at what happens when raw IQ is essentially masking hidden insecurity. It breeds complexity. These are the folks who turn incredibly simple situations into endless analysis, ridiculously long explanations, and completely unnecessary complications, basically just to sound smart.
Think about a manager who paralyzes their entire team by overthinking, overanalyzing, and just overcomplicating simple daily operational decisions, right? Instead of moving the team forward and getting things done, they demand, endless spreadsheets for the most minor daily choices. It completely stalls the team's momentum. It's a textbook sign of insecurity disguised as intellect.
Section 4. Manipulation versus true wisdom. Sign number 5 is pretty dark. It's using intelligence to manipulate rather than to grow. Some people have incredibly fast thinking skills and this really deep understanding of human behavior, but they end up using it selfishly for deception and control. Psychology shows us that intelligence without strong character quickly becomes a destructive intellect. It creates a highly toxic environment. And that contrasts sharply with a constructive intellect, where those exact same cognitive skills are used to foster mutual growth and support.
So the absolutely crucial point here is this. Cognitive ability alone does not equal wisdom. Wisdom is that essential, definitive quality that separates just having raw knowledge from real intelligence and constructive leadership.
You can think fast, sure. You can solve complex problems. But without wisdom and self-awareness, you're going to hit a wall, stop growing, and ultimately fail as a leader.
Section 5, Building Team Self-Awareness.
All right, here is your actionable, strategic playbook for professional teams. Step 1, cultivate a culture of true curiosity to override the ego's constant need to be right. You've got to encourage your teams to ask questions rather than just barking out answers. Step 2, actively reward clarity and simplicity. We need to stop praising complex overthinking when a perfectly simple solution works best. Step 3, actively train emotional awareness. Literally treat empathy as a core competency right alongside logical reasoning. And Step 4, revamp your HR strategy to actually hire and promote based on character and wisdom, not just a flashy, raw IQ score.
So as you look around your own boardroom, as you evaluate your own team, I want you to really ask yourself the question on the screen here. Does IQ alone define your team's intelligence, or is real intelligence something much, much deeper? Because it's not just about how powerful the minds on your team are, it's about how wisely they actually choose to use them. Reflect on that the next time you're about to make a key hire. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep leading with wisdom.